Hey everyone, welcome to Horror Movie Massacre. And I am very rusty at doing this. It's been a very long time. Scream 7's getting ready to come out in 2 days. Seth and I and the rest of the Horror Syndicate team decided to, rank the Scream movies. Why wouldn't we? We like to rank stuff. So it's the first six movies, and none of us have seen seven yet. Is it comes out in a couple of days. And of course, at some point, we'll probably end up doing a ranking of uh, all seven movies. I'm sure I'll have a reactionary ranking. I'm sure Seth will, and everybody else. So we will do that tonight. I also have we did the of course the old 5-star rankings, and I have those numbers as well. I've done those a lot over the years, and hopefully this will be the last time, even though it's good content for the page. So I'll bring in my pick, my partner in crime, Seth. And
So
how's it going, man?
it's going. How about you?
It's I'm rusty as hell, man. I was completely logged out of everything. I couldn't get everything uploaded like I wanted it to, and it's a mess. So, but I do have the rankings. Jared and Nate. I almost called them Jate. So I was combining their names into one. They both got their rankings in at the last minute, and it comes down to Jackson, myself, you, Jared, Nate, and Morgan, who she wrote the very first Scream article for the HorrorSyndicate.com. So,
Cool.
which is I was like, I got to get Morgan involved in this some way. And then
Yeah,
after we're
big
done, we
Scream
will of
fan,
course.
right?
What's that?
She's a big Scream fan, right?
Oh yeah, big time. And I asked, and I'm going to ask you too, what her level of excitement is for Scream 7. And she gave me like a mid answer, like a five. And hers was because of the treatment of Melissa Barrera. Um, so it makes me wonder how her excitement was going into six with the treatment of Neff Campbell. Uh, I, I'm pretty excited. So I'm supposed to go out with my friends to dinner Thursday night, and I was like, man, I want to go see Scream 7 instead. So I decided I'm going to go to dinner with my friends, and we're going to go at 9 o'clock. I don't give a shit how late it is. We're going to go at 9 and see Scream because they added more showings in my theater. Because I was going to wait till Friday, but I'm like, I'm going to open Facebook up Friday or something, and there's going to be videos and oh, this is Ghostface. I've already seen a potential spoiler, and I'm somebody in the horror syndicate I had to ban, of course. Um, but what about you? What is your level of excitement for the new movie?
It's pretty high. So first off, I don't really care about the Carpenter sisters, so that whole thing doesn't bother me. Um, with Melissa, basically, I sent you text all day or earlier today with my
Yep.
favorite lines from all six films. Um, I've already got my tickets to go Thursday at 6 o'clock at a theater an hour away from here with my friends. I used a vacation day for Thursday. Me and my friends are going to meet up at my house at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to on as many of the screens as we can. You have to head home. So I don't know what that tells you.
If you had to skip over any of them, which one would you skip?
Am I messing up here?
I don't know if it's me or you. It's
Were you able to hear me at all?
yeah, I could hear you. It was can you hear me now? It's
Yeah.
probably me. Okay. Ugh. This is what it's like having a Roni. Oh, look at that. Thank you, Ray, for your work at the Horror Syndicate Facebook. Horror Syndicate is excellent on all platforms. Thank you. Anyway, so I
It's true.
figure, yeah, thank you. I put a lot of effort into it. I figure we'll kind of jump right into it. I don't really have, I don't know about you, but I don't really have any theories about this new movie. Of course, Stu, Dewey, and Roman are supposedly coming back. They've all been cast in it. I have no idea what it's going to be. If it's going to be some kind of AI thing or what, but I don't want to speculate too much because I just want to sit back and see what happens. I knew immediately who one of the killers was in Scream 5 when they dropped images of them. Uh, and Scream 6, the killer reveal was kind of a letdown. So I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay.
Okay.
So I had it playing on my TV in the living room, and I wanted to see. There's not much of a delay. It's less of a delay than from Stu's living room to the news van. So anyway, I'm pretty excited about Scream 7. Seth, do you think that the ranking is going to be any different than you would ever think? Like, do you think we'll have a new worst Scream movie?
No.
No.
I think I mean I know. No, not at all. Can you answer me a question real quick? Am I
Yes.
coming through okay?
You are. There's a delay, like in the old days.
Okay. Um, okay. But okay. Um, no, I don't think we're gonna have a new worst. I think for the most part, I think we're all gonna be in agreement about what is the weakest film because again, this is a franchise um, that doesn't really. There's not a shitty entry into this franchise. They're all pretty damn good movies.
I agree.
But I do know that a lot of us have different opinions and taste on, our favorite sequels or how we rank some of the sequels. So it'll be interesting to see what it's all gonna be.
Hey, Reynolds. Sorry, he's watching us on the living room right now. Yeah, I know the answer. So, uh, let's get into it. Are you ready to get into it?
I'm gonna back out and then get back in.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go over the 5-star scores while you do that. Okay. Seth will be right back, and I will go over the 5-star rankings that we do on the Facebook page. If you follow us on Facebook, you know that we do put up the image of the movie with 5 stars and come up with a score. I have them all right here, compiled nice and neat, so everybody can see. Obviously, Scream is one of the, according to you people that voted on the Horror Syndicate's Facebook page, Scream from 1996 is at 95.2%, which puts it probably in the top 25 horror films of all time. Let me know in the comments if you agree with that. I think I agree with that because before Scream came along, the 90s was a decade on decline for horror, and there weren't many great things coming out at that point. There were a few things in the Mouth of Madness. Misery had come out, Child's Play, Candyman, and Lord of Illusions, just to name a few decent horror movies. But the 90s are the hangover of the 1980s, obviously, and Scream really did a lot of heavy lifting for the decade. I did a top 50 horror films of the 1990s on the horrorsyndicate.com, so check that out if you'd like. If you don't, then you don't. It's all good. I'm used to people not looking at the stuff that we do. So coming in at number 2 was Scream 2 at 85.9%. I do not agree with that. I think Scream 2 gets worse every time I see it. Doesn't mean I think it's bad. It's just kind of bland. Um, I like the rest of the movies a little bit better. Scream 2 is okay. It's the Friday the 13th 4 for me, which in many people's opinions will be, oh, it's great. But for me, Friday the 13th 4 is just okay. I get kind of bored with that one. Same thing with Dream Warriors, but that's me. Scream 3 is at 74.0%, which is barely the lowest ranked Scream movie, according to the scores. Scream 4 comes in at 84.6%. Remember, this is out of 100. So Scream 4 is my favorite sequel. I love it, and I think that's a great score for it. I get why people like Scream 2, even though I think it's kind of bland. Scream 5 is just barely ahead of Scream 3 by 0.3%. And then Scream 6 is, according to our followers, still relatively highly ranked at 82.1. I mean, honestly, the lowest score you can get on these ratings is a 20%, and there's nothing below 74. So that tells you that this is a great franchise. Because when you look at movies like Friday the 13th, even though those are highly rated, but Hellraiser has a 28% movie. So, and that's like basically an 8%. That's terrible. And I'll leave you to guess which movie that is. Seth, how's it going?
It's going. Am I
It's
coming through
better.
better?
Oh, it's way better. Yeah.
Okay.
So, what do you think of these scores for our 5-star ratings?
Let me take a look here. I agree where number 2 is rated. I think it's pretty fair.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
not
that's fair. Yeah.
and like I was saying, none of them are below 70%, which is about average. I'd say that's for an average horror movie. Uh, so, I mean, the first one, in my opinion, is a top 25 horror movie of all time. As I was saying, the 90s were the hangover from the 80s and kind of a season of decline for the horror. And Scream really helped bring horror back in many ways. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So if anybody wants to, please in the comments below drop your rankings. We definitely would love to see your rankings. Me, Seth, you know, Jared not so much, and Nate love ranking stuff. We love putting things in order based on how we like them. And like every show we've done on this show, we've discussed the movies and then ranked them afterwards, or we do the top 25 on the Horror Syndicate.
Did you freeze or did I freeze? I have no idea if I'm frozen or he's frozen. Can someone let us know in the comments? It froze on the left. So, Ray. Oh, I think he just sent me a text. Yep. Uh, solid start to our return. So, when is everyone planning on going to see Scream 7? I can't wait to go see it Thursday with my buds. Uh, again, making an hour long, trip for it. Took a vacation day from work uh, to literally marathon as much as possible. We did watch Scream 1 Saturday night, me and my friends. So we're probably gonna do, because we have to leave, I think, by like 4:30, because I want to get there at least a half hour early. Um, so we'd have to leave by 4:30. So I think we're gonna be able to squeeze in like 3 films. So we're gonna do Scream 2, and then Scream 5 and Scream 6. I would love to do 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But I just figured Scream 2 because I have strong opinions on Scream 2. And then Scream 5 and 6 because they're the more recent ones. And, you know, the new one at least is going to have Chad Indy in there. Honestly, I'm really excited for this one. I'm not bothered at all by the Melissa Barrera thing because I wasn't really attached to her character anyway, so it doesn't matter. And it's weird because I went from being one of those people that's like, I don't really give a shit if Stu Macher returns, but I don't know, the way that they've made it seem like he's going to return. I'm now at a point where I'm like, if he doesn't, then I'll probably be a little upset. Not really a fan of the AI deep fake thing, if that's the direction they're going to go into, which is a possibility, but who knows? Even if they do, it might still be a good movie. Yeah, so I'm super excited to go see it. Me and my friends are super excited to go see it. I guess while I'm waiting on Ray, let's talk a little bit about Scream. What is your favorite lines from each of the films? What I did was earlier today, I sent Ray literally text messages like one after another with my favorite lines from all the films. So, my line from Scream 1 is, you fucking hit me with a phone, dick. My favorite line. My favorite line from Scream 2 is, you forgot one thing about Billy Loomis. I fucking killed him. And I'll explain this more when I get into Scream 2, because, spoiler alert, I love that one. My favorite line from Scream 3 is, he was making a movie called Stab. He was stabbed. That always makes me laugh, like every single time I watch the movie, because I have a low sense of humor. And I'll stop it there, because Ray is back.
What'd you say?
Huh?
What was that? Oh, I heard something about somebody being stabbed.
Oh, I was like, I was just killing time until you came back. So I was going through all my favorite lines from the 6 films, and my favorite. I got to part 3 right before you got back, and
okay,
I like
keep
that
going.
part.
I'll be right back. My internet just took a complete shit. I don't know why, but finish up with those,
okay.
And then we'll do the ranking.
Okay, my favorite line from Scream 4 is "Don't fuck with the original." My favorite line from Scream 5. What the hell was it? So like Scream 5 and 6, I kind of struggled to kind of like remember. I don't think they really have really great lines, but I guess the one that I can remember the most from Scream 5 is "Maybe you're the killer," because that cut deep. I love Dewey in Scream 5. And then Scream 6, my favorite line was when Sam is talking to the therapist. And she's like, just casually talking about how she's like, oh, I stabbed him 22 times and slit his throat. Just the way that she delivered that is just so dead. I think Melissa Barrera did a better job acting in 6 than she did 5. But I'll save the remaining opinions for when we talk about the films.
Welcome back, agree, Ray. With that. Yeah, I'm a little frustrated yet again. Facebook did not share this on our page like they haven't been doing. They keep putting this in a fucking like event or something, and it's so goddamn dumb. And it pisses me off that they do this. So, and then of course my internet taking shits. I knew that was going to happen because I haven't done this proper in a while, and anyway, so I just reshared it on the Facebook page for anybody who was missing out. Rather than watching the stupid State of the Union, they can watch us be stupid. So let's get into the rankings before everything falls apart again. Our Scream rankings between, I think there's 7 of us that voted or rated or whatever. I have a bad feeling about this.
And so this is a combined list, right?
It's a combined list, and then once we're done, you can give you your personal list that I correctly guessed the other day. Bravo to me, right? Um, all I had to
You
do
know
was
me
put
well. You know me
I had to
well.
put two at one, and I knew it. So that's Steph right there. All right. According to our panel, coming in at number 6 of the Scream franchise is none other than the 6th movie in the franchise,
No way,
Scream
really?
6. Yes.
I did not call
Yeah.
that one at all. Wow.
No. Yeah, it's kind of surprising. A couple people had it at 6. I had it in a different spot. I left the paper out there. I think I don't know. I like this movie. But I think a lot of it is nostalgia bait with all of the Shrine. I wish they would have done more. They had somewhat of a cult aspect, which I really was like digging into and hoping we could see more of, which is kind of what 3 should have been or could have been. You know, and the lack of Sydney, you couldn't even tell, in my opinion. But what about you? What are your overall thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so I liked it for the majority of the film. Like, I thought this one had like some really like intense chase sequences and stuff. Like, I feel like it probably had the more intense moments since Scream 2. I love all the stuff in New York City. Uh, uh, I I have a very big soft spot um, for this movie in the 90s called Judgment Night. And there's this
Oh yeah.
one scene in Scream 6 that completely reminds me of Judgment Night in like the best way possible. Um, it, it kind of falls apart for me with the third act. Uh, and it all comes down to I know a lot of people agree with the third act issue. Um, but for me, it was not so much about the acting as it was the motivations.
Mm-hmm.
I believe if Richie's family actually believed the internet rumors instead of starting them, if they actually believed that Richie was an innocent victim and that Sam was kind of behind everything, I think it would make a little bit more sense to me. But the fact that they know that that he was a piece of shit killer, and they want revenge on the people who defended themselves. Oh no, your son died. Who cares? He was trying to kill people. You get what you fucking deserve. So the motivations really kind of took me out of it. Um, I'm actually very surprised though that this is number 6. Um, so I guess I was wrong in the beginning.
Yeah. So looking at the scores, this one and the next one got the most 6 rates, but the Scream 6 also got the most 5 ratings, and the next one got 1-3, where Scream 6 did not get a spot 3, which that's why it's
Who was it?
so. Well, I'll reveal it in a second. There, excited guy.
Well,
So
I just want to
in,
know who rated it so high.
okay, so I added my son in this. Reynolds did. He Reynolds had,
Oh,
or not so high. The highest was Morgan had it at number 4. Reynolds had the next one at, which is Scream 3. He had Scream 3 rated in the 3rd spot, which is why yeah, this is why Scream 6 fell to number 6. So, which when I added them up, I'm like, that can't be right. Like it generally Scream 3 is always the bottom of the bunch. And in my opinion, that's
yeah.
fine, because I don't think really I don't have a least favorite. I put Scream 3 at number 6. So I don't know, man. Scream 3 is number 5, and I like Scream 3. I don't hate it, never did. I've always liked it. It's something about it. Although the more and more I see this one, the more and more I like Roman. oddly, and I like that he's not present for most of the movie, which really I thought was smart because it kind of made you forget about him. And by the end of the movie, I kind of forgot about Roman, which I think was smart. And even
Yeah.
so, like in the years since watching, you kind of forget about him. Which again, like in Scream 5, you forget about Mickey. I did anyway. I think that's her name, right? Mickey? No, the female
Yeah.
killer. I never remember her name. See, I forgot about her. But I like Scream 3. I like it took place in Hollywood. It was all about trilogies. I hated Gail's hair, but and Dewey's mustache. By the way, I want to do a show breaking down the evolution of Dewey's fucking mustache because it looks dumb as hell in the first three movies. It looks glorious in 4 and 5. It's just anyway. Your thoughts on Scream 3 and its placement?
So, I mean, I was shocked that this one came above Scream 6. But as you were talking about it, and as I'm looking at this image, I'm like, actually, you know what? I might prefer to watch Scream 3 more than 6. Uh, I got issues with it, but it's a really fun movie. And it's one of those weird ones, too, where um, it almost seemed like it was universally accepted that it was the weakest. But over the
Yeah.
last several years, like back before I got rid of social media, I noticed that there is a strong love for this movie from Scream fans.
There is.
So, but it's funny because just thinking about it now, like I was so sure that this was my, least favorite, even though I still really enjoyed the film.
Yeah.
But now when I think about it, I think I may prefer this to Scream 6. So Scream 3, I think is fun, but I do have issues with it. So I don't like the fact that Cotton Weary dies in the beginning.
I don't either.
I wish it was like, they killed like Tori Spellman or David Schwimmer, like, a member of the Stab cast
That would have been
in the
fun.
beginning. Like, I wouldn't have minded if Cotton died in the movie, but do it later on. He was such a.
Well,
there was so much potential with his return in Scream 2.
they could have made it where it was David Schwimmer. I mean, think about it. He's replaced in the Stab 3 film by that actor. They could be like, well, he was replaced for Dewey because David Schwimmer was murdered, and it could have added a little bit more to the movie.
Yeah. So, I think the big issue with this is I feel like the writer, he seemed a little odd for Scream. Like, he didn't really seem to get Dewey, I don't think, at all. Dewey seemed more like Doofy from Scary Movie than Dewey.
Yeah, I could see that.
And the writer, I'll give him credit. He wrote
Aaron,
a really awesome
you don't
movie
like him. I know
in
you
the
don't like him.
90s called Arlington Road. No, I don't, but I do have to give him credit for Arlington Road because that movie's fucking excellent. But like, I just feel like I don't know, he just didn't have a grasp on the characters, and it could be also, to give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. I do know that we've heard of the original plans for Scream 3 and how they changed because of the uptick in mass shootings. So it could have just been a studio-wide decision to go into this more, I guess, kind of thriller take on Scream than like a horror movie take.
It felt more like a noir mystery. So yeah, I watched this one the other day, and it's the cheekiest, I think, of all of them. There's a lot of silliness going on. The two Gales, basically, and their fight over Dewey. It's just some fun stuff and some silly kills, and still a lot of question marks. Did Angelina really die? I still wonder about that. I'm sure she did, but wondering if she was one of the killers. That was one thing I think we talked about at one time. I still think there's some unanswered questions with Scream 3, but
I loved Parker Posey as Jennifer.
I did too.
Her whole interactions with Gale. I thought that was a lot of fun.
I like the way she'd be like, I would play Gale Weathers this way, and My
Yeah,
Gale
yeah,
Weathers would be more level-headed or whatever she
yeah,
says, you know.
yeah.
Uh, it's good. I like we said, it's just like the Evil Dead franchise, in my opinion. No weak movies here. But
Right.
coming in at number 4 is Scream 5. I think a missed opportunity here to separate this part of the franchise from the first 4 movies, because I have a feeling we're gonna get wrapped up by in an 8th movie. And that's my opinion. Is you could have the first 4 movies and the second 4. They could have called this what was one of the proposed titles for Scream 2 was Scream Again, which I think would have been cool. Or
Yeah.
Scream fucking 5 would have been perfect. But uh
I call it Scream 5. I don't give a fuck
it's
what
Scream
they
5,
call it.
yeah. I hate this title. Every time I post about it on the Horror Syndicate, I put 5 in parentheses because it's fucking Scream 5. And it like the one thing I've noticed about Scream 5 is it's in many ways very similar to Scream 4. And I don't know if you've noticed that. I know they have kind of a formula and everything, but they talk about Scream 4 as remakes, but the way they describe them, I just watched Scream 4 last night, is it's more like describing a requel than a remake. And this is all about requels, a word I hate. And I'm like watching Scream 4 and I'm like, there's a lot of Scream 5 I'm seeing here. And I think Scream 5 kind of, because you got Richie in this one who is the uber stab fan. Uh, what about the killers in Scream 4? What were they fans of? I mean, they had Stabathon, for God's sakes.
Dude, dude. Exactly. This is why I have begun brainstorming for that article that I was talking to you about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be completely honest, I don't really care for
drama.
the Carpenter sisters. I'm just going to put it that way. I do not like them almost at all. So
they're not really that interesting at all. It's just
no, they're not.
I don't know. You get the nostalgia of seeing Skeet Ulrich as Billy. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's kind of a culmination factor here too, because you're back in Woodsboro again, but you get to see Dewey, Sid, and Gail in their 40s, or Dewey might be or in their 50s maybe, and then you get to see some of the sights of Woodsboro, and it feels a lot like the first movie, kind of like a Force Awakens type thing. But at the same time, you're introduced to a lesser core group of actors. Like Melissa Barrera is becoming a very good actor in her own right. I'm not saying anything bad about her. She was okay in this 6. She was much better, and everything else I've seen her in, I'm like, damn, she's getting better and better. I mean, what was that vampire flick she was in?
Oh, Abigail.
Abigail, yeah, I loved her in Abigail. And and Jenna, I almost called Jenna Malone. Jenna Ortega, I do not give 2 shits about at all. She is underwhelming in this and extremely annoying in the 6th movie. So, yeah, I would rather seen Clay live. I think that was his, or Wes live. He was Clay in a different show. And I don't really care for the Meek twins. So, Meek's twins. The one is annoying, the girl. And Chad doesn't bother me. I actually like him. He was good in Hard Eyes as well. But most of the core actors from this movie I don't care for. And it's very much a Force Awakens situation. Most people didn't care for Rey, Finn, and I think they like Poe, but that's how it feels. I wanted to see more Sydney, more Dewey. Dewey got fucking shaft in this movie, literally, and Gail was just kind of there. I would have preferred them to move away from the main characters, if anything. And if they move on past 8 into 9, I want to see a copycat somewhere else that has nothing to do with anybody from Woodsboro. So anyway, your thoughts?
Yes. Well, it's funny you bring up the Force Awakens. This has a similar problem to Force Awakens. Missed opportunity not to get the main 3 characters together in a single scene.
Oh yeah.
Dewey dies before Sydney even comes back into Woodsboro. I will say this. I think Scream 5 has probably my favorite David Arquette performance as Dewey. I think he is solid as fuck in all the scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like they killed the wrong legacy character. I think it would have been better if they killed Gail. It could have been extra story motivation for Dewey. You know, Gail's kind of just so one note now. She's not. She's like a shadow of her former self. I liked Gail when she was like a bitchy kind of holes no barred character, but ever since
Yeah, I like
Scream
that
3,
scene in
she's
four
kind of like
when
tamed down.
she yells at those that Sid's the handler or whatever, and she's like, "Still got it." I'm like, "Yep, that's Gail." You know, yeah, I agree with you
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
Sorry.
I, I think overall it was a fine film. Like when it came out, I was super excited for it. I think I had a similar reaction to Force Awakens, where I'm like kind of caught up in this moment of, hey, this is franchise is back,
Oh,
and I didn't
100%.
kind of, I didn't really care for, like, I didn't really care about any of the flaws. Um, I do like uh, Mikey Madison, like her performances, and between this and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, two movies where she both gets burned alive, which ironically, um, I think she's kind of a fun actress, and she was fun as Amber in this. Um,
Amber, that's her name.
Part of me was kind of hoping that Jack Quaid would have been a good guy, because I do like the idea, because a lot of I don't know why it's so foreign to some people, but not everyone likes horror films. Not everyone has seen every horror film. So, like, when I've seen people online say, "Oh, they knew it was him because he claims to never seen a stab film," I think that would have made sense, and I would have liked that journey for him, where he's like, as this is going on, he's like learning all the shit. But I thought he was good in it. I don't think Melissa Barrera is very good in the film. Uh, Jenna Ortega, she's kind of one note. I think the Ghostface moments are pretty brutal, and that's why I dig it. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's an okay film. I call it Scream Five. I don't give a shit what they call it. I know they're trying to be clever, but the biggest thing that I'm just done with this franchise is stab fans. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm hoping that
Like,
we've moved
in
on
this
from that.
world, Halloween, dude, in this world, Halloween, Friday 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, Evil Dead, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, those films exist in this world. So why the fuck is it Stab, of all things, is causing such a big stir where people are so obsessed with it?
I guess because it is based on that town, and it's a lot of it has to comes down to. I mean, if you think about it, Scream 2 going forward, it's Sydney anyway, but Sydney has to do directly. So does Gail and Dewey with the Stab movies because there's characters based off them, and then so I think that's why it's such a popular thing. Where Michael Myers and Jason is all fictitious. This is real in that world, of course. That's why I think it's so big. It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Technically, is based off of Ed Gein, but this is in real time almost. Stab comes out a couple years after the original Scream takes place. So I think that's probably why the characters it's based on are still alive. So I think that's probably why. And people are so crazy about it in Woodsboro because it takes place in their town. So that's the way I get it. Because like even Scream in the franchise itself pales in comparison to the ones you mentioned except for Hellraiser. Maybe I like Hellraiser, don't get me wrong, but like Halloween obviously is like the granddaddy of all slasher movies. But like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Nightmare on Elm Street I don't really consider a slasher. Those are the Friday the 13th part 4 or 6 are the granddaddies. Those are the ones that are the best to obsess over, in my opinion. Where Stab, Tori Spelling is the main character in that movie. Like she plays Sydney. Why is that so popular?
Yeah,
She
yeah,
wasn't even the most popular
exactly.
on her own show.
Yeah. Well,
90210.
so here's the thing. So here's the thing with me with this though is like and this was going to be something I'm going to expand upon in this article that I'm putting together, but for the horsesyndicate.com, check it out. Um, is that there's an evolution of the killer motivations throughout the Scream franchise. where I call it from personal to petty. So Scream 1 through 3, the motivations behind the killings were based on personal grievances, or even, in the case of Mickey, like a a personal dream of having
Mm.
this big court case. Scream 4, I'll give an exception to, because I thought it was very clever to do this, uh, killer trying to create their own sequel and insert themselves as the new main character. I
Mhm.
thought that was brilliant. But Scream 5, then it's like, okay, we're going back to, it's just a petty reason. It's
Yeah,
these
but at the same
characters are
time,
pissed off
it's
because
it's
Ryan
almost the same
Johnson
reason as
ruined
Scream 4.
it. Well, yeah, yeah. Well, but and not to mention too is like, what are they saying about Scream fans? Are they saying that we're all a bunch of fucking psychos like this? Like, I don't know.
Let's
I,
face
I
it, we
just
are.
don't like. Okay, we all go a little mad sometimes,
Exactly.
but um, I don't know. I would just prefer if, like, Stab can exist in this world. I wish they would just kind of tone it down a little bit to where it's not like this huge, biggest franchise of all time, and
Mhm.
where people can use Stab as an excuse or as a mask to execute their own personal revenge.
Yeah.
The thing is like, going forward, they need to get back to making the motivations on a, I think, a deeper personal level, rather than just being petty of, hey, Ryan Johnson ruined Stab 8. So we're gonna do the same thing that Joe Roberts did.
Yeah,
But
and I think
enough
that's
ranted from me.
that's
I'm sorry.
no, but I think that's a big issue with Scream 5 is the similarities to Scream 4 and or Scream Forum or Scree Forum or whatever, however, because there's a forum. So let's just go ahead and say the next one is Scream 4, um, which I love this movie. Unapologetic. This is my second favorite of the franchise. I love the multiple openings because it's the first time I saw it, it absolutely threw me off. I'm like, what the fuck? And then when the third one comes around, you're sitting there, is this going to be real or is this going to be another fake intro? Uh, I okay. I talked about Scream 5 and the new core of teens. This one I like better. First of all, Emma Roberts is a great actress. I like her a lot. It's my son's big crush. He is in love with her, I think. But I thought she was fantastic, and I don't think it gave her away at all. This was back to Scream being okay. Who is it? Where Scream 5, I knew Richie was going to be one of the killers, right off the cuff. I knew he was bullshitting the whole time. Again, I remember when those pictures came out. I sent our group chat. This is one of the killers. I knew it. I
Yeah.
knew Jack Quaid was going to be one of the killers. I just there was something about that picture. I'm like, he's got to be one of the killers, and I was right. I didn't know who the other one was because generally there are two. But yeah, so this one kind of threw me through a loop. I didn't know what to think, and I thought maybe Jill was going to end up going, down the same path, and maybe they're passing the baton off to Jill. And I was like, holy shit, they might kill Sydney. The first time I saw this, and again, I genuinely like the cast in this. I thought they were going to kill off Gale. Dewey was great as sheriff, seeing his character go all the way. This was so you talk about 3 being the low point for Dewey. This was, I think, the high point for Dewey. Where 5, I liked him a lot, but I think this is the high point for him. He's the sheriff. He's a man of action. He gets beaten by a fucking bedpan. But I like Dewey a lot in this movie because he's doing what he can with a wife who is hard to deal with. Also, who's part of who's going rogue against him essentially. And you also have that little subplot of Deputy Judy, who it seems like she definitely wants to get some of that dewdrop. So I know I love Scream. I love Kirby, by the way. She's definitely one of my top 5 favorite characters in the franchise, along with Jill. Jill's probably my favorite Ghostface, other than Stu or Billy. Yeah, I like this one a lot. I watched it last night, and I just love it. What about you?
So I love it. This is my number 3. This is my third favorite Scream film. The issue I have is the ending, man.
Wait, is the issue you have that Deputy Judy's lemon
If
square?
they had just
Yes?
ended it, Joe Roberts kicking her own ass, do you mind? And just setting everything up, because I thought that was an amazing, like when that first happened in the theater, because one, as you mentioned earlier, I did not suspect that twist with Jill at all. I thought she was being set up to, as you said, to take the baton from Sydney. So when she's revealed as one of the killers, and we see her be almost successful to the point where we get to watch a killer who's getting away with it kind of stage everything. Like, that was just such an amazing and enjoyable moment for me. And I'm like, cool, we can get this whole new trilogy of Scream films where we know who the killer is, and this person setting up their own sequel. But that tacked on scene with the hospital, it just kind of killed it for me. But I do love this film. I think overall, I think this is probably the most brutal Scream, as far, at least in comparison to 1 through 3. Dewey's back to form. This is like appropriate Dewey as opposed to part 3, where he's got his personality, he's got his goofiness to him, but he's also someone who's serious and takes himself seriously as a member of the law. So I enjoy Scream 4 quite a bit. I just wish that it had ended with Jill kicking her ass, and then the reporters talking about her as like this new Sydney. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, and the sad thing about Scream 4 is this was the one we were almost left with, which I don't think this would have been good enough for me the way it ended. But I do love this movie regardless. And the more this is one of those that the more I see it, the more I like it. So and I really like Emma Roberts, and I like what they were trying to do. Is harkens back to Friday the 13th part 4 into part 5, where you think that they're setting, we thought they were going to set Tommy up to be the killer, and we thought that the same thing, or that Jill was going to be the hero, kind of the same thing, but not really. So I think this hits on a lot of right notes. Kirby makes me horny because she's all into horror, and I need a girl just like that in my life. I mean, of course, she's younger than me, and he was younger than me at the time, but I can say that because it's just a movie, and she's an adult. I think she was an adult at this point. Please tell me she was an adult at this point. Let me look, because that makes me feel bad now. As soon as I said that, I'm like, oh, how old was she? I got to look it up real fast, because otherwise I'm going to feel like a creep all night long. Let's see. It came out in 2011. She was born in 89. Yes, she was 22. I'm okay. Kirby still makes me horny. So, but yeah, man, I love this one. This is like when we started doing this show, Horror Movie Massacre, and I think the first time we did this, rewatching the franchise after seeing, I think at the time we did it, I don't think 6 was out yet, or it was coming out, one of the two. And I remember rewatching 4. I'm like, holy shit, I love this one. I think I like this more, because I was of the mind that 2 was the best sequel. Up until I started realizing 2 is bland as fuck. And then the killers, I think they are 2 of the worst killers in the franchise also, until Scream 6. But yeah, I like Scream 4, and I'm sure you know what the next one is. The Friday the 13th part 4 of the Scream franchise. Bland and overrated.
Bullshit.
So I keep saying that. I don't get it. I don't get why you like it so much, because it's kind of boring. I mean, they kill off the best character, first of all, Randy. He's definitely a fan favorite from the first 2. But like, Mickey is not convincing at all. I knew Mickey was a killer from the get. It's like, try to hide a little, man. Try not to show that you're a fucking psychopath right away. It's written all over his face. He's obviously, like, I mean, that that scene in the class, the film theory class, is so telling for Mickey. So telling. Because these movies are kind of like, what do they call it? A commentary on the horror genre, and he's trying to stick up for sequels throughout the whole thing. And this is a sequel, obviously, and the Mrs. Loomis reveal was meh. I was never a big fan of that. I'm like, okay, cool. She's getting revenge for her son, and remember also, I want to go back to something I forgot to mention. Do you remember when Scream 5 came out, Scream 6 came out, and I was comparing them to Scream 1 and Scream 2?
Mm-hmm.
How the events of Scream 5 kind of mirror each other in many ways. The party at the end at Stu's house, and then you got Scream 6 was ended in a theater just like Scream 2. I wonder if we're going to get. I think they're breaking the cycle with Scream 6 or 7, but anyway, I'm getting into a weird rant. There's something boring about this movie. I just lose interest in it every time I watch it. I don't like Dewey. Gail, she's okay. I don't know. I think this is the weakest of the first 6 movies, in my opinion, in many ways. I did not rank it at 6 because I have a little bit more respect for it. I think I had it at 4 because it's fine to me. Why do you love it so much, though? It's just it's mid.
Well, I could talk about this film for like hours. I think this is actually a absolutely fantastic sequel in terms of characters and story. Now, obviously, as you know, Ray, I have Scream 2 is my number one. It's my favorite Scream film. Although I do recognize the fact that Scream 1 is a better film overall. And what I like about Scream 2 is what it stands for as a sequel. So it's great only because it's an extension of Scream 1. Now, I do have some criticisms of it. The opening scene in the theater is probably my least favorite opening sequence of them all. It just relies on too many coincidences there. However, and I do agree with you about Mickey. I think if you're gonna have that character be the killer, you probably shouldn't cast Timothy Olyphant, because the moment I saw his face, I was like, oh, he's the killer. Now, I love the fact that this is a film where the characters from the first one are kind of sort of dealing with what happened a year before. Like, it's not something that they got over right away. When it happens again, they're all kind of they're putting their caution up. Sydney's kind of struggling with it. I actually really like the moment with her and her theater teacher where they're talking, about her being a fighter. And I think this film really evolves Sydney into being a fighter. My favorite line in this movie is, you forget one thing about Billy Loomis, I fucking killed him. I love the moment where, in the end, where Mrs. Loomis is looking through that little hole and Sydney has an axe, and she kind of had like this little bit of like this ha, and she like starts chopping at the things. I like the idea too that they chose. It's almost like a reverse Friday the 13th, where this one, the killer is the vengeful parent. I think that works really well. I love the inclusion and the extension of Cotton Weary. I think any other screenwriter would probably just have not had that character in this at all. He would just been that side character who appeared on the TV screen in Scream 1. Mm-hmm. But here they're bringing him, they're giving him that character his due. This character who was falsely accused by Sydney, set up by Billy and Stu, and how that affected him, and and stuff like that. I just think this film has a lot of great stuff in terms of characters and story and themes. I like Mickey's motivation being about um, wanting to get caught to have this big trial. I like the fact that we have this Friday the 13th aspect with Mrs. Loomis wanting revenge for her child. And the fact that they have someone who, an older woman with short hair. So kind of like a visual, almost homage to Pamela Voorhees. Um, I like Dewey in this. I like Dewey and Gale a lot in this. I like that Dewey has that Broken Arrow theme. It does kind of remind me a little bit of like, it has like kind of like a Twin Peaks type vibe to it, which kind of is funny because he almost kind of reminds me of Deputy Andy, minus the crying. There's just so many things I love about this film. I could literally talk for a long time.
Or write an article about why Scream 2 is the best Scream movie.
I'm planning on it. Well, I'm gonna do a Fandom Files article on Scream 2. And again, I don't think it's the best Scream movie. It's just my favorite Scream movie. You know what I mean? Like it's a personal opinion. I get a lot of enjoyment out of this one. I think it really works as a sequel. Not to mention too, I think this one has very high stakes and some very intense sequences. The scene where Sidney and Hallie have to climb over the ghost face in the car, in the cop car. I thought that was a really intense sequence. Randy was my favorite character from Scream 1 and 2. And as much as I hated the fact that they killed him, huge credit for having the balls to do so. And to the point where I felt like it added a little bit of stakes to it. So like when they killed Randy the way they did, a little bit later when Dewey is getting stabbed multiple times in that recording booth, I was like, holy shit, are they going to kill him too? So there's just a lot of stuff I love about Scream 2 personally. I get where you're coming from. I can get where people may think it's a little boring. I think it's a little bit longer than the first film. There's quite a bit more slower moments in this, like Sidney talking to Derek singing. I'm not a big fan of when characters break out in song and dance. And, Sidney talking to her drama teacher and that whole thing where she's having her play. But I just really fucking dig this film. I think it's a really great sequel. And I shun anyone who says it's overrated.
Overrated. The thing is, like, I get the story parts, but the movie itself is not as entertaining. That moment in the car is 100% like edge of your seat tense for sure. But she still could have removed the mask. She still had the opportunity to remove the mask. She could have done it from outside the car or right after Hallie got out of the car. Should have done it.
Dude,
still should have done it.
Yeah, we could point out flaws. We could point out flaws in every single Scream film, though. I mean, even Scream 1, Sidney was so stupid.
I know. And the other thing is why in the fuck was Hallie standing so far fucking away from, like, she was standing on a corner, basically. I know, I just thought of that. That's not one of the things I hold this down for. I hold it down for because I lose interest in it. It's just like, it's just not, I don't know. It feels like there's not enough going on in the movie. Derek singing doesn't bother me. I don't really like him as a character at all because I think they tried to lean way too hard in him being a potential killer when I never thought it was him because that was too obvious. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, that you're trying to do what they did in the last movie and it's too obvious. It's not going to be the boyfriend again. I think I don't think that'll ever happen again.
They could have done more to, like, really lean more into him being innocent because he was,
No, Joran's comment. Everybody's got better hair in Scream. Scream 2. Not Dewey. He's got one of the worst mustaches of all time. Period. What's that little curl he's got going on in his mustache? Anyway, Yeah, no, I mean, I just every time I watch this one, it's like I just feel let down because it's just this one is the one that gets worse with every viewing for me, and I'm not sure why. I don't know. Cotton's annoying to me with his 15 minutes of fame stuff. It's just really abrasive and annoying to me. It's just me, and I get why their story parts are good, like the growth and being ballsy with killing off Randy for sure, because that's the last time the main characters had any stakes at all until five.
Yeah, yeah,
So I totally get that because you knew Gail, Dewey, and Sydney were not going to die in three. And
right.
same thing in four. I knew none of them were going to die, especially after we saw Gail pretty much get hit in the shoulder. You're like, okay, I think she's going to live. And then after four, you're like, okay, I don't. They're never going to die. So because I did think they were going to kill Sydney at first, like I said, I was like, oh shit, they're actually going to do it, and then they didn't. So I don't know. I don't know. It's something about it, and it's weird because it doesn't feel like it's even directed by the same person, in my opinion. But there's a couple of things I want to talk about location wise into that I actually love. I love the college campus and I love the setting in Scream 2 a lot. Windsor
Yeah,
College,
yeah.
it's multiple places, I think, but it's such a great location. There's a lot going on there. I do like the set and the theater and everything. I just don't. There's something about the movie that it sucks the energy out of the franchise in the second movie, in my opinion. Where I think two is a bit more fun of a detective, or three is a bit more fun of a detective movie, a buddy cop movie with a love triangle and all kind. There's a lot going on in three to kind of pay attention to. Two just gets kind of like, oh, is this over yet? Like Friday the 13th Part 4 for me. Which I know that bothers you. Well, maybe it doesn't bother you. I know you don't understand why Friday the 13th Part 4 is it's kind of a bore to me, but he's killing me. That's part of that movie. Anyway, I don't fault you for having Scream 2 as your number one. I mean, after
Well,
all, you're a sequel, Seth. So
here's what I'm gonna say. Everyone can have their own opinion. I respect you for not liking this. That's fine. Scream 2, I'm I'm unapologetically a huge fan of, and that's that. I'm a huge fan of the film. I'll do an article on it, and I'll go into my thoughts deeper as to what I love about the film.
Deep
Again,
Thoughts with Seth Miller. You should. That's great.
I do understand, the pacing issues that people will have with two. I totally
Yeah.
get that, but Scream 2, it just like I don't know. Like first time I watched it, it hit me. Like there was something about that movie that grabbed me, and I put it on, and every single time I watch it, I just love it. Like I don't have those issues that a lot of other people do because I noticed over the last couple of years, there's actually a lot of people who prefer four or three or whatever to two. I've seen two rank at pretty much near the bottom on a lot of lists, but for me personally, uh, I love Scream 2. I will always love Scream 2. And Evil Dies Tonight.
But nothing, in my opinion, beats. You don't fuck with the original. Obviously, number one is going to be Scream, for
Yeah.
many reasons. I still watch Scream today, and it's a nostalgia trip for me because these people could have been my peers in high school. I was relatively the same age. They may have been a year or two older than me. I was 16 in 1996, and I'm guessing they were juniors or seniors. Don't quite know because they're kind of like. What would you think? Because I was trying to pinpoint. They were talking about one of the characters in Scream 7 on one of the videos I watched and how she's younger than Nev Campbell, but I'm like, yeah, but she's about the same character age as Nev Campbell. Because she's essentially my age. In the 90s, we were both teenagers, technically, as Sydney's character. Anyway, maybe I'm thinking too much.
Well,
But
Scream 2 takes place like 1 year later. So
so she's
I'm
a
assuming,
senior and
yeah, I'm
probably
assuming
screaming.
I'm assuming there's seniors in this one.
So, and I think it's relatively early in the school year. I think it's the fall, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah, it seems like the
Yeah.
fall.
So
I don't know
she's
what
probably
California
17.
is in the fall.
So I'd say she's a year older than me then. So Anna Camp, who is a year younger than me, 43, they're saying could be from Woodsboro is what it is. And she's like, oh, that she's too young to be friends with Sydney. I'm like, ah, but in, relative, she's about the same age in movie, time. Anyway, um, no, Scream came along and it was a breath of fresh air. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time I was watching it, and even today, like I know everything's going to happen. I've seen it so many times, but I watch mannerisms more and more the more I see. Like for instance, it's like trying to dissect this movie a little bit more every time I see it. Like this time I was watching when Billy pops out at Stu's house towards the end, and he looks at Stu. He gives him this look, and the look in his eye almost is like telling him, "Yep, I just killed Tatum." Like it's
Oh,
taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Like I never noticed that before, and I'm like, holy shit! I wonder if I rewound. I was like, yeah, that looks like uh, him telling him, "Yep, it's taken care of," type of
dude,
situation.
next time you rewatch this movie,
Mhm.
really pay attention to Skeet Ulrich in the scene where they're sitting at the fountain because
Oh,
he's constant he's constantly
yeah.
giving looks, being like,
Hmm.
"Shut up, dude."
Shut the
But
fuck up.
and
Yeah,
then in particular,
yeah.
in particular, when Randy asked Stu, uh, was that before or after he sliced and diced? Billy like just quickly turns his head and looks away, like almost grimacing. Like it's so fascinating. Like yeah. Anyway, yeah,
Well, it goes to
you know what I'm
show
saying.
things like I think Skeet Ulrich is a better actor than I think we've taken maybe him for granted in this movie because just some of the facial expressions he makes in this movie or reactions, like that fountain scene,
Mhm.
especially. You're right. Like Stu's acting like a jackass because Stu's a jackass. He's a fun kind of guy, zany, crazy guy. And yeah, Billy is. You can tell he's getting annoyed with Stu. He's like, "Shut the fuck up, man! You're gonna blow it for us." Like,
Yeah,
especially when I was 16, I didn't know how to
yeah.
fucking gut somebody or whatever. You cut him from crotch to sternum. Like, how does he know that? Is he a hunter? Because that's obviously they think Hunter did it. So anyway, but there's so much about Scream. Linda Blair's in this for a quick second. You know, Courtney Cox is phenomenal, and I would argue I think she looks her best in this movie compared to like
Oh yeah,
Scream
totally,
2 or Scream any of the other ones. She looks phenomenal
totally.
with her blonde streaks. Definitely a tell. It's the mid '90s. You can tell. Nev Campbell looks so cute and much younger. She looks so much more adult in Scream 2 compared to this. They kept her looking like a high school student. We've got a great cast of characters. I love this cast. I remember seeing them shortly after I saw this on the MTV Movie Awards, and you saw them on stage, and you're kind of like right there with them. You felt like I felt like one of their peers. Like I said, you know, this was a
Yeah,
movie from my generation, our generation. This was our horror fucking movie. This was our horror movie for sure. And I love it. I love it for everything that it is. And I love Billy and Stu at the end. There's nothing better than Billy and Stu at the end of this movie when they're revealed as the killers. The Stu, when Sydney runs into Stu away from Billy or whatever it is, and he's just got that stone look on his face, and he surprised Sydney. All that shit is so good when he hits him in the fucking head with the phone. They stab. All that stuff is gold. Such a good
hmm
movie. I'm hogging.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I mean I was 13 when this came out, and I remember my dad was working at the movie theater. I'm sure I told you this story before. My dad was working at the movie theater as a projectionist, and I was waiting for another movie to start. I think it was a Jim Carrey movie, but my dad was telling me, "Hey, you should check out Scream." And I was up in the projection booth, and I was watching some of the opening scene, and right when uh, Casey is outside and she kind of pops up, and we first see Ghostface when he turns around.
Mhm.
My dad came right behind me and fucking scared the shit out of me.
Nice.
Um,
Perfect timing.
yeah. And then, what was it, like 6 months or so later when it came out to VHS? Uh, me, my brother, Brett, and all the kids on the neighborhood, we rode our bikes all the way to this store to rent the VHS of it, and we went back to a kid's house and watched it, and that was our routine. We rented this movie quite a bit. Um, this movie was special. So, like at the time, you don't expect two killers. Um, now it's like to the point where it's like that's what people think of as Scream, but people don't really think about the mindset of what the audience was at when Scream came out, and how refreshing that was. There are,
also we were back in a whodunit type of movie as well, which I don't know that we've seen anything like that in years since the early slasher boom.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things where we're like, who the fuck is it? Is it Randy? Randy seems the most obvious. Like that's one of the things I like about Scream is it kept me guessing.
I don't know. I kind of felt like Stu was the most obvious. He was the one character they never really bothered trying to kind of like I don't know, like hide, or at least they didn't go out of their way to like make Stu seem innocent at all in any scene.
Yeah, which I also that could have been a curveball though. They made him seem obvious, so when they did the reveal, you think, "Oh, I thought it was Stu," and then when you find out it is Stu, you're like, okay, but
mm-hmm.
That's how it was.
Well, it's because the cool thing is because they made Stu seem obvious, but at the same time, it was like they also give you this whole subplot with Billy getting arrested, and you're like, okay, well maybe it's him. Like, so who is it? But this is an excellent slasher film. It's a lot of fun, and again, I could point out issues with this film.
What's a glaring issue?
Being stupid enough to go on. The glaring issue for me is actually when Sidney. It's at the end when Randy and Stu are approaching Sydney, and she has the gun and she says, "Fuck you both," and slams the door. Because up to this point, not only is the audience expecting just one killer, but so are they. And she saw Ghostface standing behind Randy on the video feed in Gail's news.
Oh yeah.
So that should have cleared Randy in her mind. But
I don't blame her though. Like it's at that point, it's like save yourself, So I think that's kind of how I took it, rather than thinking one was I don't blame her, but yeah, I can see what you're saying for sure, and I'm sure there are other things. Like there's one part in the movie when Tatum and Sydney are shopping at the little gas station bodega type place, and Ghostface.
Oh my god! Yeah, you see Ghostface.
Yeah, I'm like that doesn't make any fucking sense. And I get why they did it. It's just like a little jump scare type thing, and the show that Ghostface is watching. But at the same time, I guess it would be Stu. I've always wondered who that was supposed to be. But they know that it's a person wearing that costume, and yet they let him in the shop wearing the costume. Is that what we're supposed to believe? I don't know. That's silly. The one thing I was watching the other day was when Dewey went up to the sheriff, and the sheriff talks, takes a puff of a cigarette. Dewey talks, takes a lick of his ice cream. I was watching it, and I was about on the floor because I never noticed. Like I knew Dewey had his ice cream this year, but I had never noticed like how silly that scene actually kind of is. It's not a silly moment, but it's a silly scene in a way,
Well, yeah, it's because their emotions are at the same time. Every time the sheriff takes a puff, Dewey takes a lick, and then like even after, like the sheriff throws a cigarette on the ground, stomps it out, walks away, and then Dewey throws the cone on the ground.
Yeah, I like that scene. There's one that I kind of never paid much attention to until this last viewing, where I was really trying to watch the characters a little bit more to see if I noticed anything different. And I also noticed that Stu doesn't seem to he already seems he's done with Tatum. in some ways, like distancing himself a little bit at the party. I don't know if you noticed that at all. And there was a scene where Randy
Yeah.
started talking to Sydney in the background while I think Stu was up talking to somebody or something. And you could see Nev Campbell pushing him away from her. I don't like you. It's for a split second. You're like, oh, yeah, she never had an interest in him at all, and she's all. I thought that was pretty funny. But no, Scream is a legendary film. It deserves to be a top 25, if anything, horror film of all time, in my opinion. It's so good. It's fun. It's still relevant to today. And like, I know when you watch movies, they're definitely trapped in the time they were made, you know, especially like old slashers from the 80s. But in Scream, same way, because Billy had a cell phone. What? I didn't, we didn't even have a cell phone in the house until almost 2000, you know. But I still think Scream is somewhat
I had to
timeless.
explain that to I had to explain that to my kids when I first showed them Scream. I was like, "Did you know back then it was not common for us to have cell phones? We grew up in a time where we had to go outside and play with the kids."
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I remember around that time because that was the year we all started getting our license, was 96. And my friend Matt got his dad's convertible, and we were going out to St. Louis, and his dad gives him the car phone just in case. And we thought we were hot shit. So every time my friend Matt would pull up to a stoplight, it's like, dude, put the phone up to your face like you're talking to somebody, because we thought it was such a cool thing. Now everybody's got cell phones in their pockets, even fucking 2-year-olds. But I don't know. I think the ranking's pretty solid overall. I mean, I do have respect for 2 as much as I just think it's bland. It probably does belong at least in the top 3. So I think with Scream 1, 2, and 4 being in the top 3, I think that fits. It did surprise me, but it was by one point that Scream 6 was the bottom place finisher. I'm gonna watch Scream 5 tonight and then Scream 6 tomorrow in preparation. I'm hoping. There's a lot of things I don't like about Scream 5. Just going into thinking about it, like I really don't like the characters in that movie almost at all. But being back in Woodsboro is always nice, and I'm looking forward to rewatching. I'm really looking forward to watching Scream 7 on Thursday. All right, so for our gentle viewers, why don't you lay down your ranking?
All right, so I know that a lot of people are going to disagree. My number 1, or should I do it in the reverse?
Do it in reverse. Add some tension.
So, my number 6 is Scream 3. My number 5 is Scream 6. Although, after the way we started tonight, the more I thought about it, I'm like, maybe I could probably switch those 2. So that might change in the future.
Well, you're going to watch Scream 6 tomorrow, you said, or Thursday, you said. So we'll see if things change after that.
Yep. My number 4 would be Scream 5. My number 3 would be Scream 4. My number 2 would be Scream from 1996. And my number 1 is Scream 2. Again, I don't think Scream 2 is the best film in the franchise, but it is my personal favorite. So take that as you will.
Yeah, I mean, I think once Scream 7 comes out and eventually 8, the rankings will look a bit different. And like with 4 or 5 movies or 6 movies, it feels like there are obvious spots. Like Scream 3 is generally obviously the number 6 movie. For me, it's I have 3 at 6, but I do like 3 a lot. I have 6 at 5, and then I have 2 at 4, 5 at 3, 4 at 2, and 1 at 1, of course. 96 at 1.
So you like 5 more than 2?
As of today, we'll see when I watch 5 again. Okay. My son Reynolds, he has 4 at 1. Then nice. 1 at 2, yeah, and then 3 at 3, 2 at 4, and then 5 and 6 in the 5 and 6 spot. So I just wanted to throw that out there because he's my son. You're my son, Lex. The other day, I got to tell you, I sent him a message while I was at work. I was like, "I love you, man." He's like, "Why?" I was like, "You're my son," and he sent me a picture, a gif of Lionel Luther. I was like, "Perfect." Like that's why I
Can't go
love you
wrong with
right
Lionel.
there. No, not at all. Well, it's how in Smallville sometimes he's like when he's talking to Lex, he's like, "You're my son, Lex," and I'll
Yeah,
say that you're my son, Reynolds, just like Lionel. Um,
John
see
Glover is so fucking
Morgan,
good at that role.
he was awesome. He's
Yeah,
spectacular. Morgan has 3 at 6. She has 2 at 2. Yeah, I mean, the biggest surprise on Morgan's list is 4 at 5. I think I don't like
oh
that.
well,
Yeah. Let's see. Nate's is not very surprising. Jared's is pretty standard, except for he has 6 at 6 and 3 at 4.
hmm.
So and 4 at 3, and then 1 and 2 at 1 and 2. You really the one that had you and Reynolds are the only ones. No, hold on. Yeah, you and Reynolds are the only ones that had 2, or the first one at 2.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And he's the only one that had 1 at 4. 4 at 1, I mean. Jesus. This is hard to say. Anyway, I can't wait to see where 7. I'm really looking forward to my reactionary ranking for the Scream franchise after 7, because I remember walking out of Halloween Ends, and my Facebook post was immediately, well, we have a new worst Halloween film. It's no longer Halloween Resurrection. That was my very first post upon walking out of Halloween Ends. I was so pissed off at that movie. It's not my least favorite. It's not my least favorite. Resurrection still holds the crown for the worst Halloween movie in my opinion. But it's with the Scream franchise. I don't think that there's somebody that while 3 obviously holds the crown, but I think in time that'll change. I think we're getting closer and closer to. It's like the prequels. The prequels are starting to get the Star Wars prequels are starting to get a light shown on them after the sequels came out. So I'm wondering if 7 will make 3 better somehow. Like I always wonder that stuff. How is back when Halloween 2018 came out, and I was like, maybe Kills will make
It's,
Halloween 2018 better for me. It did not, but you know,
I think
we'll
it's
see.
inevitable, really, with the trajectory of Scream 3's popularity.
Yeah.
Uh, it's been going up enormously. But it's funny that you brought up Halloween Ends because my initial reaction out of the theater when I had social media, I didn't even put an opinion down on it. All I did was
Mm-hmm.
a simple ranking to let people see, and I had it like what number 12,
When you see Scream 7, what time are you seeing it?
6 o'clock Eastern time.
So it's 5 o'clock my time. So you'll be out of the theater by, yeah, I think it's 2 hours, around 2 hours. You'll be out of the theater by 7:30 my time. I will still be an hour and a half away from seeing it. But I'll tell you what, text me your new immediate out of the theater rankings when you do, and I just won't look at the text.
Okay,
Because I
I
want
mean,
a fresh, like, fuck this movie, or yeah, this movie ruled, kind of thing. But I won't read it. I will not look at my text from you because
well,
I don't want you to stew on it too much. You know what I mean? I don't want you to sit there and think, well, now that I think about it, I'm 2 hours out of the theater. It's a solid number 2 or something like that. And when
well,
I say number 2, I
I
mean
mean,
poop.
right. Naturally, everything's measured in poop. Um,
Absolutely.
so again, I have like an hour trip, so I'll get out of the theater around like I don't know 8ish, uh, and then I'll be I'll have an hour trip back with all my friends, probably talking about it. And then when I get home, I'll send you a text. It'll be like probably 9:30 my time, which is what 8:30 your time.
Yeah, I will be still half an hour from seeing the movie.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's okay. No, send it to me. I just won't look at it and I won't respond to it. I'll just swipe it away. Get out of here, Seth. And then once I'm out of the theater, because it's going to be kind of a weird night. I'm going to be sitting there at dinner with my friends. We meet up at 6. We do this every other Thursday, and I'm going to be thinking about Scream the whole time. And then I got to drive home, pick up the kids, and go straight to the theater, which is I've never really done that before, like on a school night, taking them because we probably won't get home till close to midnight. Um, but they don't care. I mean, it's Friday the next day, and honestly, they don't give a shit anyway. But yeah, I'm excited. I think I'm at about an 8 for excitement for seeing out of 10 for seeing Scream 7. I've kind of kept myself away from watching any kind of theory videos or anything like that because I want like we did theory videos for 5 and 6, and I watched a fair amount of stuff after we did ours, and I just kind of want to go in not knowing much. I watched the trailers, and I got to tell you, I barely remember a damn thing from the trailers. And I've seen posters because posting them on the Horror Syndicate, but I don't remember much from them because I'm trying to go in like I went into the Last Jedi actually, without knowing much about it, without having talked much about it, and I kind of like that. So,
Yeah, I mean
although the
that
Last
worked
Jedi
for them.
win, I watched it the other night, and I still have. Going back to the Last Jedi for a quick second, I watched it because I've been like renewing my love affair with Star Wars lately to hopefully put me in a better headspace because my job I hate it. I hate being where I work, and I just stew in my own filth. But I rewatched all the Clone Wars, rewatched all the original 6 movies. And I watched Force Awakens, and it's kind of just mid and very A New Hope. And I'm like, okay, so I have to watch Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker again. So my takeaways from the Last Jedi this time around were it's pretty. There are some great shots and there are some decent scenes. Overall, it's a shit show, but it's a good looking movie to look at visually, and there are some cool scenes. But overall, it's a piece of shit. Period.
It's my least favorite Ryan Johnson film.
It's my least favorite Star Wars movie.
It's one of
I
my.
give I I
I,
give
I,
the Rise of Skywalker a lot of room because they tried to fix the problems that Ryan Johnson created, which really, if you think about it, J.J. Abrams really created them
well, yeah.
because
I mean,
Ryan Johnson had to go off what J.J. was doing, and Ryan Johnson just made it worse.
well, it's all because of fucking Kathleen Kennedy greenlighted
Maybe, yeah. The thing is, I'm looking at.
without a plan.
Well, apparently JJ did have they did have like treatments for or something outlines or something. But no, the problem is the whole problem with the Last Jedi was a lot of it was Luke, and that is got to be on JJ Abrams because he could have put Luke like I honestly don't think I think Luke should have come into the Rise of Sky. I mean, the Force Awakens earlier, like on whatever that planet, Starkiller Base, when Rey summons the lightsaber, it should have flown right past her into Luke's hands. How cool would that have been? That should have happened. Well, like you said, we never saw the big 3 together. So really, Luke should have come in somewhere in the middle of the movie,
But it's the whole bullshit thing where it's like, oh, Luke Skywalker is somewhere MIA and he just abandoned the because
Mhm.
It's like, okay, since fucking when?
Yeah,
Why would he do this? And the
And
reason that they give for him to do that is completely
Ryan Johnson's reason, by the way,
nonsense. Huh?
it's nonsense. I mean, he was ready to go down on the Death Star with his dad just to bring his dad back to the light side. I mean, he believed in the darkest of dark hearts in Darth Vader. Ah, yeah. Sorry,
Well,
horror people,
not the
but
darkest of dark hearts, though.
what are you saying? Palpatine? Or the dark heart in general?
The dark heart in general.
Okay. In Star Wars, I meant.
God
But
damn it.
anyway, I'm in a very Star Wars place right now, so it's hard for me to keep my Star Wars stuff inside me. I want to let it
It's hard
out.
for yeah, it's hard for me to get excited for anything Star Wars. So the Mandalorian and Grogu looks like absolute fucking garbage. I got zero excitement for that whatsoever.
I think I have maybe like a level 3 excitement for it. You know, the Super Bowl thing didn't do anything for me, but I really did think the new trailer was a little bit better. I'm like, okay, this might be pretty fun.
It
And it's,
go
I don't
on.
know,
I'm sorry.
man. The server's in a bad place right now.
Yeah, I do agree that the newest trailer was better than the first trailer, which is so underwhelming, and
Hmm.
the Super Bowl ad, which was retarded. Um, and I don't know. I'm just I liked seasons 1 and 2, um, but I just couldn't. I don't know. I couldn't continue on. It's like I liked
I just,
I liked the
I
Force
like it.
Awakens.
Yeah.
I love Rogue One. I love Rogue One,
Everyone's great.
but like they just kind of lost me.
I think I want to, I first of all, I do want to like Mandalorian Grogu. I hate the title also. Um, I want it to do well enough because I would like to see the all Disney Plus shows movie with Ahsoka and Grand Admiral Thrawn and all that stuff. Because I have maybe a little hope that somehow they'll be able to pull Luke Skywalker into it because he belongs in there. Um, Maybe like we've been talking years for Sebastian Stan to be cast as Luke. Maybe this is the time, and they'll start doing more Luke centric stories. That would be phenomenal, but I don't see that happen. I'd still like to see the the Thrawn stuff happen, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here so I can watch Scream 5 because it's Scream 5, and next week we are going to do a after we've collected all of our thoughts, we will do a spoiler review of Scream 7. Probably about the same time, between 8 and 8:15, or 9 and 9:15, depending on where you are. And yeah, so expect spoilers. So if you haven't seen it by Tuesday, I wouldn't watch it, but I would watch it anyway because we want the support. Seth, we just passed 94,000 followers on Facebook today, so fantastic. And Seth put forth the proposition. Please, Seth, let them know if we get to 100,000 by my birthday. Do you remember? Are you there? I think we may have lost Seth.
I'm
We'll
freezing up.
reveal that next week. Do you remember what we're going to do if we get to 100,000 followers by my birthday?
I'm sorry. What was that?
Tell them what we're going to do if we get to 100,000 followers by my birthday.
So
Okay.
if we get that amount of followers by Ray's birthday, he is going to be doing a live commentary of Leprechaun 4 in space. I don't know if any of that came through because my computer is glitching out.
That's all good. Anyway, everybody have a great night. We'll see you next Tuesday. Have a good one.